Okay. What's up, everybody? How's it going? This is the Moonberry Cup, the 18th ever Moonberry Cup races, and we are so excited to have everyone here. Let's go ahead and welcome in our racers and my co-commentator, GoFish, dudexthree, and Lectis. What's up?
Hi, I'm doing okay.
How's it going?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for taking part in the Moonberry Cup today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Okay, perfect. So before we get started, we're gonna go over the guidelines. They're pretty simple. There's not a whole lot to go over. Basically, we are going to count down 3, 2, 1 at each level's postcard screen. The two exceptions to that are Prologue and Summit. They don't have postcard screens, so we'll just ready up on the climb screen. We'll try and sync up that 3, 2, 1 go as best as we can so we can get the in-chapter comparison accurately. After each level, we'll go ahead and open up the journals. That way we can compare times. And that's pretty much it. If you guys are ready, we will welcome in the Moonberry Cup, and then we'll kick off the races. What do you say? You guys ready?
Ready? Oh, but that actually backspace. Dang it. Well, okay. It's just the A.
Hey, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and
Means you
welcome in
won't
the.
fail the demos.
There's gonna be a lot of failed demos. I think we're taking bets on the number of failed demos.
So sorry. Your princess.
I mean, my bet's still at 19, but
19. Okay. That would, I think I'm gonna go under. I think you're gonna get it less than 19. Okay, here we go. Moonberry Cup intro, guys. This is a very, very important part of the race, and please bow your heads, close your eyes, and open your hearts as we welcome in the 18th ever Moonberry Cup. And there it is. The Moonberry Cup Season 2 18th ever races have officially begun. I'm excited. Are you guys ready?
Absolutely.
hopefully. Oh my gosh, I actually pressed backspace again.
It's
Okay.
a big key, you know?
It is.
Yeah.
There's a lot. It's very easy to accidentally hit it. Yeah.
And also, it's for some reason it's part of my hotkey to mute on Discord. So
Yeah. So if, like I said, we're gonna do the countdown. Once we get into, well, we can count it down now if you guys are ready. Once you get your file names in, we'll do the countdown and we'll just jump right into prologue then.
All right, sounds good.
I'm ready.
Okay. We got Bean and A, Dude v Lectis, beginning in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, Celeste, any percent, go fish. What do you look at prologue here? What are we looking for?
We're looking forward. I don't know. It really doesn't matter all that much, but you know, there's a couple of corner boosts you can do, and there's a couple of sort of just rapid wall climbs you can do. And other than that, you're just jumping as often as possible.
It's gonna be
Get that
over like
little
really
boost.
quickly, so it's already done pretty much. But yeah, prologue is just introduction. You don't have your dash. All you can do is these little hops, and you can see both runners just zipping through really quickly there. And now we are ready to jump into the first real chapter, Chapter 1, Forsaken City. Go ahead and get to the postcard screen there, guys, and we will we'll count you down into the Forsaken City. Another quick level. It's going to go by really fast, so pay attention, guys. Forsaken City, beginning in 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, you said it was quick, and I think both these runners are probably aiming for around the 120 mark at this time. So
Yeah, I would say, yeah, definitely sub 120 is going to be preferable. Ooh, lectis taking a little spike touch there.
yeah, the great thing about City is all the deaths are quick, but a lot of people, once they die once in City, they're ready to restart anyway, because
Yeah.
all they're doing is wasting 1 minute.
That's another thing to keep in mind here, guys, is you can see each of these runners has a really nice times, about 37 and 38 minutes PBs. That's very fast. But again, PBs and like races are way different, because in the race you cannot reset. And most of the times when people are practicing this game and trying to get faster, resetting is just a part of the it. You just you may make some mistakes, especially early on, where you'll see in City, even Old Site, where you'll make a mistake. It's very easy just to reset the run and start fresh. But here they don't have that option.
Yeah, it's definitely a measure of speed still, but absolutely consistency as well.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to let something, put them on tilt. They're going to have to recover no matter what. You can see a nice sync up here at the end of the chapter. Wow, that was pretty nice.
I see a 114 on Dude's side and a 113 on Lectis, so that is pretty impressive.
Yeah, very nice start. Neither runner really showing the nerves here.
And then obviously a slight difference in the time depending on how quickly you skip the cutscene and whatnot, but that's the difference between chapter and actual progress.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, looking good. Let's get the postcard screens, and we'll get ready to drop into one of my favorite chapters, Chapter 2, Old Site. Here we go. Runners are ready. Let's get into Chapter 2 in 3, 2, 1, go.
I see Reltica said in the chat that run doesn't matter until resort, and that technically is not true, but everybody knows that resort is one of the harder chapters, and this is another consistent chapter that people, tend to just do well on, and if they mess up, they reset anyway. But yeah, another easy chapter in a site here. Couple of early deaths on Lectis's side, but they'll be able to bounce back.
Yeah, Old Site is another quick and really like smooth flowing chapter to speedrun. These runners at this level, I would say, are probably hoping to get something around 2 minutes 10 seconds, 2 minutes 15 seconds. But it introduces some brand new things to the game. Most chapters in this game are introducing new mechanics in every chapter. So what you're seeing here that's new, you're seeing the dream blocks, which are these kind of like jelly-like blocks that the players are using. They can dash through them. They regain their dash when they go through. They can also do like jumps out of them. And then we're also introduced to the antagonist in the game, Battleline, and she is like, you can see here, multiplying and chasing Madeline around, and if you make contact with her, it's instant death. So you're gonna have to navigate everything going on, and also while avoiding battling. Really smooth so far on both runner screens. There's a couple. Lectis finishing up now, one of the more dangerous screens that can really cost you some time. And nicely done. Both runners through the difficult section, and now just kind of wrapping up the chapter now.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, Lectis had a few early deaths, but really didn't matter once they reached the Madeline fight.
Was that a retry?
I mean, that
was that a
early
retry?
Oh,
you hate to see it.
It hurts, but it really loses like a second.
Yeah, not that bad. Not that bad. Nicely done. Dudex is done, and Lectis now on their way, finishing up.
And like we said, it was in the 210 range. So a slight lead, it looks like, for Dude right now, but like Relp was saying earlier, Resort is where the run starts to diverge.
Yeah, we're gonna
With-
talk about Resort. Looking at the postcards here, yeah, dude with a slight advantage. We're talking about 10 seconds or so, which is really early game. Doesn't mean anything, these 10 seconds, but it does mean both runners are close and starting out really well. But Resort is like a game changer. We'll talk more about Resort once we begin. So, players at the ready. I will count you down. Okay, looks like runners are in position. Let's begin Resort in 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, and like we were saying, Resort is the first time you're really introducing a lot of cycles. And in speedrunning, that is difficult because you've got to make the tough choice of, am I going to be able to make this cycle? Do I need to rush through this room? Do I take the risk of a death and go for the speedy strats? It's a lot of difficulty.
Yeah, it's also it's just chapter 3 really, like chapter 1 and 2. Again, chapter 1 was about a minute or so, minute 20. Chapter 2, 2 minutes, 2:10. And chapter 3 really, I mean, you're talking about could be easily 6 minutes here at this level. It's just such a massive chapter with so much going on. And like Nikki Gofish was talking about, you can see these dust bunnies or meatballs. They're cycling, and you have to kind of navigate around them. Another thing to talk about, which is just ever apparent in Celeste speedrunning, is what's known as the death cycles. So the death cycles, when you come onto a screen for the first time, you can see these dust bunnies are moving in their patterns, and you know how to navigate the room. If you make a mistake and you die, you then, instead of coming in from the previous screen, you spawn at the beginning of that screen, which means that the cycles are all a little bit different. So what a lot of runners do is they'll practice starting from having died. So, but I mean, a lot of times you don't as well. So you can get into some trouble if you end up in a death cycle you're not familiar with. You may end up losing some time there.
Yeah, there's quite a few rooms where you really don't have to worry about it, but at least half the rooms in this chapter, you've really got to learn how to run through it 2 different ways, 2 different strategies. And if you don't have that strategy practice because you're super confident in the, I guess, life cycle, I don't know what to call it, the entrance cycle, it's tough.
Nikki, what do you can see Dudex and Lectis both hitting this bubble. Can you give us a breakdown of the chapter here? What's the point? Like, why are they hitting these bubbles?
Yeah, so this middle section, it's called Huge Mess, and you're helping out Mr. Oshiro clean up his decrepit hotel. And the biggest issue is that or the biggest theme is that you're getting rid of all of these clutter. The first is crates, right? And then you do books, and then you do towels, I believe. And each time you press one of these buttons, it changes the rest of the other levels. So the order really matters here, and people have discovered that basically where Oshiro spawns is why you do each of these segments in this order.
Yeah, casually in Celestial Resort, you can actually, you can kind of navigate however you want. Speedrunners figured out, as Gofish said, that the order you want to do them in is bottom, top, middle. That's the fastest order. But yeah, it is really cool if you guys have not played the game or only played casually, is the order changes each other section. So you can go back and try a different order, and it kind of, you'll see how it kind of changes things slowly. But both runners now have completed cleaning up the resort, and they're now heading to the roof, where, I'm sure things are going to be really safe on the roof. But in between there, they're going to get to one of the cooler tricks called the Demo Dash. Can you tell us a little bit about Demo Dash, Nikki?
Yeah, so I assume both of these runners have a Demo Dash button, which makes it a lot easier. But basically, a Demo Dash is a crouched dash. It gives you a much smaller hurt box, and there's quite a few spaces in every level where you can sort of dash in between either spikes or
Wow,
spinners.
first try there on dude's screen.
Yeah. And you're doing basically a crouch dash through these dust bunnies, and it lets you skip more or less 2 or 3 rooms in a sort of search for a key. And instead, you're just dashing straight through a wall that looks pretty much impassable.
Yeah, there's actually a behind the scenes there. There it is. Nice, lectis. There's a window there that you can get through by crouch dashing, which both runners did successfully. And now you can see making their way to the roof. Dude is on the roof and being chased by now angry ghost Oshiro.
Yeah.
And
we really didn't do anything wrong, you know?
I mean,
All we
it's
were
true,
doing was
yeah.
helping.
Yep. This is a long and difficult stretch, the final stretch of the chapter, and it's all accumulating into the final screen of the chapter, which is a really, really dangerous screen, a long screen, which means it can really cost runners time. We're going to hope they both make it through quick and easy.
Yeah, and that's the type of screen where you could choose to learn the death cycle, or if you die, just go for super safe, super slow strats is what I tend to do.
Agree. Yep. I think it's really important here just to, and you can see dude is kind of doing that now, just kind of slow and steady is actually faster in some cases, and nicely done there. First to the finish, lectis not far behind. Hopefully going to wrap up this final screen with no deaths.
Good duck under the Oshiro. That's a good example of safe strats really making the difference. And a
nice.
sub-6
Wow, that was a
for
little bit
both runners.
sketchy. Nicely done. Really nice resort for dude there. Dude's got the postcard up. Let's pull the postcard up. Lectis and Nikki, tell us where we're at.
So I think dude gained another lead of another 17 seconds, if my math's right. And I guess we can hop on into
Oh
the
yeah, no
post-
problem. Yeah, postcard up when you're ready, guys, and we'll begin Golden Ridge. I really like Golden Ridge. It's kind of like grown on me as a speedrun level. It wasn't always my favorite, but I'm really starting to really like it. Okay, Golden Ridge, beginning in 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, and another I guess it's the third shortest chapter, I guess. So back to a sort of chiller atmosphere from the hotel, and the main mechanics are not really threatening, unless you count the wind, I guess. But the wind can even help you in some rooms.
Yeah, the wind is the new mechanic here being introduced. Also the bubbles, the first time we're seeing these bubbles. And
then, of
clouds
course,
as well.
clouds.
Yep. First time we're seeing clouds. What about crumble blocks? Is this the first? Are there any crumble blocks? Oh, there are crumble blocks.
There's one in chapter 1.
Yeah,
I'm
chapter
pretty
1,
sure.
yep.
Or multiple, but as far as any percent sees.
Shouts to Archie. We did not see Archie on Lectis' screen. Dude did the Archie move. Nice. So there's a lot of different ways to get through this chapter. There's a few auto-scrollers, and auto-scrollers for speedrunners are notoriously slow, and whenever possible, you want to avoid them. You can see Lectis with the slight lead here, getting to the first real big auto-scroller. And
Went for the ultra.
Went for the ultra strat, which is it's a tricky strat. There's a safer way to do it where you kind of let the block push you. Let's see, second try.
Got it.
Nice, got it. And dude first tries it, so close the gap there. Lectis had the lead, and you can see
Still
does very slightly.
Barely.
But you can see by missing the first try and then dude hitting the first try, how the gap was closed there. So there's another auto scroller screen coming up. We're going to see how each runner handles them.
Yeah, each of these auto scroller screens has maybe 3 to 4 different strategies that are varying levels of speed and risk. And at this level, you know, it's really a toss-up which one they go for.
Yeah, very true. And even very possible to just do the auto scroller as intended. Like on here on Lectis' side, you can see. Okay, so we're going to see two different options here. Lectis is showing us the intended route. Dude is going for this speed strat here. Oh, missed it. Unless, yeah, you have to be able to get to that wall with your dash.
Yeah. I believe there's a way to sort of
To save it from there?
kick off of the spikes with a
Oh,
spike
yeah,
jump,
yeah,
but
maybe.
I might be wrong.
Nicely done. Second try there. And Lectis with the lead. And now into the final climb of the chapter known as Cliff Face. You can see those white lines are really screaming across the screen here, and that's indicating the wind force. There's a really heavy headwind here in the final section here. But yeah, both runners making it look pretty easy so far.
And one thing to note is that when you're in either sort of the the hyper momentum, or just in a dash itself, you sort of ignore the effects of the wind. So that's where
Ooh,
speedrun strats come in.
Lectis catching a snowball to the face. This is another mechanic, or I guess like an obstacle introduced here. Are these snowballs at the end of the chapter, and they're easy to predict, but it doesn't mean they're easy to avoid. You sometimes can get caught off guard.
Yeah, they're pretty much programmed to go where you're heading, so you've got to always be changing your sort of position vertically to avoid them.
And Lectis very much needed a good time here, and nicely done. Closing that gap that Dude has created, and both runners look like they are through now. Nicely done.
A smooth finish from Dude on the last run. Getting the Cloutberry as well.
Cloutberry, let's go. Okay, Nikki, what do we got postcard-wise?
So, Lectis pulling out a 338, and Dude just about 11 seconds behind just on that chapter itself. But he's got a good lead of 20 seconds right now.
20
Dude
seconds,
does.
yep. Nice. 20 seconds, a very close race as we head into my favorite chapter, Mirror Temple.
I didn't do complete research on both runners, so I'm not sure if they do the B-side or not.
Ooh,
But
yeah, that's a good
I
question.
imagine at this time they either scream through 5A or they go for 5B.
Yeah,
So,
I agree. 38, 37, I would say probably we're going to see 5B, at least one 5B, but let's see what we got here. Looks like runners are in position. Let's begin Mirror Temple in 3, 2, 1, go.
and so this first segment is what people call, I guess, the tape grab. There's sort of some people call it a bug. I don't really know if it's intended or not. But if you complete the sort of alternate harder version of the level before you actually complete the first level, you still get to move on to the next chapter, whether or not you finished 5A.
Yep, so speedrunners take advantage of that fact by, in this chapter and sometimes in Chapter 6, by getting to the tape, grabbing the tape, unlocking the B-side, exiting out to the map, starting the B-side, completing the B-side, all faster, potentially faster than the A-side would have been. So I think we're probably going to see that. We're going to find out shortly here because the paths diverge.
Diverge, yeah.
Okay, Lectis going for the B-side. Okay, both runners
Dude as well. Yeah.
heading to B, yep. And we're going to see from here on out, I know guaranteed all the runners are going to be going to the B-side. So we're not going to be seeing any 5A today. So I'm sorry, 5A fans.
If Hydra's out there, I know he's a big fan.
I remember when I transitioned from 5A to 5B, like really feeling like, man, I'm going to miss 5A. It's really fun.
A lot of people, just because it's so much slower, sort of hate on it. But 5A, back when I was, I guess, a scrub in like my higher times, I really enjoyed 5A. Getting that consistent and being able to handle all these seekers.
Oh yeah, the seeker section is a lot of fun. 5B has arguably the most famous speed strat and the smallest window of success. Probably one of the smallest. I don't know if it's the smallest, but It's called Bub's Drop. It's coming up here shortly, and it requires the runners to exit the screen. You're going to see them exiting the top of the screen and hopefully fall back down. You can see Lectis is on the screen now. Going to exit up top and hopefully fall back down. Nope, didn't, and decides, okay, so Lectis is just going to continue on. Let's see Dudes try here. Okay, both runners very close. I could tell by the way they landed. They were both very close to hitting it. But now they're going to have to kind of sidetrack over into this bubble gauntlet room. Grab this key.
Yeah.
Take the bubble all the way over.
Both opting to go for the sort of slower approach, but definitely the more consistent approach rather than you have an option of exiting to the map, and there's a checkpoint right before the Bub's Drop trick that you could have. It loses about 10 seconds each time you retry rather than 30 seconds overall if you don't retry at all.
Yeah, and both runners really synced up here. This is nice to see. 5B, though, is really a difficult chapter to be consistent at, and one of the reasons that it's so hard in speedrunning is there's a lot of long screens, and anytime you have a long screen with no checkpoints, you're going to have the potential to lose a bunch of time. So these runners are going to be really trying their best, and it sounds pretty obvious, but just trying their best not to die here. So far, so good.
And they're both on the arguably the longest screens, which are the mirror entrance and the mirror exit.
I'm going to give it up for both these runners. That was really... They made it look much easier than it is here. And now they're in. Now they're through the mirror, and I mean things don't get easier, but it's definitely a relief to get through that first section without dying.
And so now we get our first look at the Seekers, which always spawn in the same place and pretty much behave pretty predictably. So at least in this, in the B side, it's pretty easy to manipulate where you want them to be and how you want to bounce off them to finish these levels quickly and sort of avoiding intended strats. Yeah,
the secret manipulation stuff is really cool, and now we have Theo to deal with, as if the Seekers weren't enough. Now we're on an escort mission. We have to carry Theo, who's stuck in this crystal, and it makes everything like just a little bit harder. When you're holding Theo, you can't move as fast, and you can't let Theo
grab.
You can't grab. Yeah, you can't let Theo die. You can't let Theo you can't leave Theo behind. Theo has to leave the screen with you. And this is very clean for Dude, and Lectis a little bit behind here, but making their way to the Theo section now.
These last two rooms tend to be pretty consistent, so Dude finishing up with probably a mid 3.
Yeah, very nice time. Oof. Just a little bit of trouble here for both runners, actually.
This gauntlet room is not forgiving if you start to diverge from your strats.
Oof, nice.
Lectis
improvise there, yeah. Nice time there for Dude. I know he got hung up on the cassette room a little bit, but still respectable time for sure. With
a sub 4 is impressive.
A sub 330, very nice. This is one of those chapters where it's very easy to lose time, and next thing you know, you're way behind schedule. So, wow, nice strat there on Lectis' side, and just at 410, nicely done.
I think it should still be within a minute. We'll check the journal to see for sure, but going into the last two chapters, it's anyone's game. Yep, just under a minute.
Yep.
Quick math.
Dude with the advantage. Kept the advantage the whole way here, but with Reflection and Summit still ahead, it's absolutely anyone's game. Okay, 5B music is awesome, but we'll listen to you again later. Okay, let's get ready to drop into Reflection in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so now we're heading into the second longest chapter and second to last chapter in the game. which is Reflection, which is a pretty interesting chapter in that it has no berries and it has a lot of diverging paths, but most of the speedrunners follow a pretty similar route throughout.
Absolutely, and one of the well, you're seeing right now both two new interactables. You're seeing the feather, which Madeline grabs the feather and kind of turns into I don't know, turns into just fly around. But when you're actually playing, it's tricky because all of a sudden your range of motion goes from it's like 8 directions,
to
360. Yeah, so if you're like, for myself, I am a controller player and I play on D-pad for most of the movements, but then when I interact with a feather, I switch to analog. So it's just adds another element, and for me, it's really, really cool. I actually really like that. The fact that you have to switch it makes it a little bit harder depending on your preferred, method of playing. Some people play keyboard, and some people play all analog.
Some people play Dance Dance Revolution.
Some people play, shoutouts to Peking Boo and the Madman. But yeah, just as another element, you're also seeing Kevin blocks, which we saw earlier. We're going to see more coming up, and you're seeing these bumpers, which are like the bane of a lot of speedrunners' existence. The bumpers are like really.
Yeah, speaking of multiple directions, it's sometimes a little unpredictable because they sort of drift around a little bit which direction you're actually going to get sent in, whether it's slightly down, slightly up.
The bumpers are like very precise, and wherever you hit them is the direction that it shoots you, and it's very easy to hit the wrong way and just end up shooting in the wrong direction. But both runners making their way like pretty smooth so far through here.
Yeah, pretty much just off sync by about one room right now, so getting close to the battle and fight in a pretty similar fashion.
As Nikki mentioned, there's a branching paths here. Not so much like Mirror Temple. Mirror Temple's a ton of different paths you can take. Here, there's just a few different areas where you can take either a bottom or top path. I believe both players took the top route. And okay, so it looks like Dude here with a slight lead, but lectis not far behind.
Yep, still just about one room. And we'll see if both runners can pull off the battle and boost to either create some distance or catch up.
Yeah, battle and boost is a cool, pretty risk-free strat that looks really nice because you take advantage of the momentum. There's a giant Kevin block we're going to see shortly. Players are going to activate the block. It's going to carry them across a few screens, and then they're going to use the momentum to like really launch themselves, hopefully successfully, into the final section here, the battle and fight.
You going for it?
Yeah, nice.
It gets stuck in the ground, but that's still a big time save. It's pretty awesome.
Nicely done.
And like this, opting to just ride all the way there, going for the safe strat.
Sometimes very wise, and especially if you in a race situation and where if you know where you're at, you may decide to play it safe versus go all out. Let me change up the music here because we need some hey-yas. Gotta get the hey-yas.
Yeah. And the safe play is working out because lectis has cut down on the gap. It's about one battle and bonk away from each other.
Yep, so we don't go into the story too much here because we just skip all the cutscenes, but we're seeing like a full circle from the earlier chapter when Battling was chasing us, if you'll remember, and split into multiple parts, and when Battling touched us, we died. Now we are in the section known as a confrontation, confronting yourself, and this is where the roles have been reversed now, and you as Madeline are seeking out Battling and kind of the goal of each screen is to hug Badeline, or I don't know what's happening, but just touch Badeline, and then you can see she retreats to the next section. So
I'm not sure if they're hugging. Just
I don't know if they're hugging,
part
but
of the
it
story.
just it makes me feel nice to think that they're just hugging.
By the end of the chapter, it's a hug, I guess. But right now, it's a bit more aggressive. An aggressive hug.
It's an aggressive hug. Nice sync up here. Both runners on the same screen. Oh, wow. This is very, very close. Heading into the final section of the chapter. This is where things really get ramped up now. Badeline has been, up until this point, shooting these lasers, shooting these like energy balls, and now she's also taking control of, you can see these platforms are now moving, and just having to get through all of this quickly is very difficult and without dying. And oh, lectis right there takes a death. Okay, that was kind of an important death here.
But sometimes it feels
Oh.
like deaths are inevitable. you
Yeah.
know, and just straight from dude as well.
Just like that, they're back completely synced up now.
This is a very long, very constant barrage type of segment that any sort of death really shouldn't demoralize you too much.
No.
It's,
There's no real with this final screen that they're both on now. This is the exception. There's no real long screen that's gonna really punish you with time if you die. But this one, both runners are through successfully, and now they're gonna go
Yeah.
collect the only power up in the game, which is a second dash.
and assuming both runners pretty similarly run through these last couple screens, lectis getting a good maybe 5 or 6 second boost.
Yep. And look how close this is. Wow. What a reflection.
7:03 versus a 7:07.
7. So 4 seconds.
So dude's still got about a 50-second lead going into the final chapter, but we can check the journal just to be sure.
Yep, and remember, guys, there's no postcard screen for the summit, so we're going to ready up on the climb screen. I'll count you guys down into summit. But yeah, let's take a look at the journals first.
Oh, we've actually got a sponsored stream, 7-Eleven.
Hey, there we
Decided
go.
to sponsor.
Get your Slurpees ready. So a 25:41 for Dude and a 26:33 for Lectis. So I mean, going into Summit is a whole different beast. We'll talk about Summit as we get started into it. But yeah, it's still absolutely anyone's game. A minute difference is very, very, that time can swing in Summit for sure.
Yeah, at this level, the runners could go anywhere from 11 minutes to maybe even 13:30.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yep.
there is time to make up and time to lose, definitely in this chapter. So good luck to both runners.
Good luck to both runners. Lots of good luck to both runners in chat. It looks like they're both in position. So let's begin Summit in 3, 2, 1, go. Perfect timing. Good luck to both runners. So Summit, Nikki, tell us about Summit. What is
Summit
this
is
chapter?
sort of a greatest hits / extra challenge version of every level. Pretty much every mechanic makes a reappearance, and then there's a grand finale at 3,000 meters of sort of just the resurgence of the wind mechanic, but in a vertical. But we'll hear about that in probably 8 or so minutes.
Yeah, this is Summit is like a very, very. It's the longest chapter by far, and I feel like this is like a reoccurring theme. At least for me, it took me a while to realize. But Celeste, in like each chapter, it does this thing where it seems like it's making everything harder as you go. Especially in the speed run, like the final few screens will be the most difficult. And that's kind of repeated here, where Summit itself is the most difficult chapter. It's extremely long. And like Nikki said, it's revisiting. You can see each player now is in the 500 meters section, which looks a lot like Forsaken City. They're going to move into the 1,000 meters section, which looks a lot like Old Site, and etc. all the way to the final climb, 3,000 meters. But the power up that the runners just got is 2 dashes. So now you can see the pink hair. Madeline now has 2 dashes, and so everything's kind of changed because of those 2 dashes. They're going to have to use both to navigate through here.
Yeah, and the 2 dashes really makes a big difference in how the game is played from here on out.
Ooh, lectis.
A lot
nice
more,
save.
a lot more interesting sort of rooms that you really didn't see much of earlier.
Whoops.
Oh yeah, you can still get your dash back there. All right. I was worried dude was gonna have to redo that whole room, but he made it out.
Yeah, so going into this chapter, Dude has the lead, so lectis is gonna have to hope that Dude makes some mistakes here, and they're gonna want to have a very nice clean summit, and they're gonna have to finish about a minute before Dude in order to claim this race.
They are more or less synced up
Mhm.
by about 3 or 4 seconds apart, I'd say right now. So.
Yep, into 1,500 meters, which is, I think, personally, one of the trickier segments to do fast.
Yeah, it's not too bad casually because there's so many walls that you can grab on and then decide, here I'm gonna go here when this fuzzy gets out of the way. But right here, you're skipping a lot of those parts where you can really pause and take a breather.
Wow, Dude just really smashing a few of these longer screens where. For me personally, I get kind of in the mood of like, I don't know how to do the screen unless I'm doing the speed strat, and you can see a couple of times there, Dude having to or opting to like leave the screen and come back versus the death cycle. That's what I end up doing here too, is because I'm just so used to doing the fast strat, right?
Yeah, both runners actually opting to after failing the ultra room, actually exit and re-attempt it.
And the other thing that's nice is like it's very easy to do that here, but like it's not always easy to exit the screen. In fact, sometimes the game stops you, like it'll put up a wall. You can't go back. So just so happens that it's easy to do here.
Yeah. And this is one of the places where it's probably honestly faster to exit and come back in because of that ultra strat. It really does save a lot of time.
Okay, here we are. This should look familiar, kind of like Golden Ridge. Not a whole lot has changed in terms of lead here. Dude's still in the lead, and a really nice. Ooh, I was about to say a really nicely executed ultra strat here.
Yeah,
and
just missing one extra dash at the end there.
Yep.
And pretty synced up right now after that one mistake.
Oh, spoke too soon. Commentators curse lectis taking a snowball right to the dome. No way the snowball's going to hit him.
We are lacking in ass today, sadly.
Yes, no ass, no auto scroll or skip. Palm Top Tiger requests, commentator, please stop cursing the runners.
Normally, I wouldn't worry about it too much, but I am interacting with such a magical man right now that I didn't realize that I could accidentally cast a head.
Yes, the power.
I'm sorry.
The power just bleeds over. Dudex now on the final screen of the sub-chapter. A very long climb with no checkpoints, but easily handled. And Dude just increasing the lead. Very nicely done into 2,500 meters. This should look a lot like Mirror Temple.
Yeah. lectis on their side taking a death in one of those long final battling rooms, and those are always a heartbreaker.
Oh yeah.
But both runners now on 2500, and like you said, it is a revisit of the Mirror Temple. Included with it is branching paths and keys. So. And a lot of really interesting boosts you can get off of these mirror blocks as well.
Another thing I think that's worth mentioning here is the PBs 38:21 and 37:04. It's a minute and 20 seconds at a higher like at a I guess a slower time. A minute 20 is not really that big of a deal. Like if you have a 50-minute and your opponent has a 49 or so, not that big of a deal. But I think here at the 38-37 minute range, it means more. And this really, even though it's race format, anything can happen. I think lectis for sure the underdog with a minute and 20 seconds or so slower PB. Correct me if I'm wrong, Nikki, but I think at this level that does mean something.
It makes a very large difference. I think Dude over the past couple days has PB'd once or twice, which definitely split the difference a bit. And but like you said, commending lectis so far because they are not too far behind.
No.
When it should be over a minute and a half behind, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Both runners pretty on pace. But now in the 3,000 meters, which is the final climb of the game, guys, and you can see Dude. You can see the wind mechanic that we saw from Golden Ridge, but now for the first time in the game, the wind is coming downwards. So this is a section known as downdraft, and again, it affects everything. It kind of feels like gravity on Saturn or something, where all your movements just feels like you're wearing like lead boots, and everything's just kind of like closer to the ground. All your movements just feel heavier, and so that's something that they're going to have to deal with. And then shortly, or you can see on Dude's screen now, actually the wind is reversed, and now it's an updraft, which everything feels floatier, like more like moon physics, which again, it seems like, oh, that will be good. We're climbing a mountain, right? Wouldn't it make it easier? But a lot of speedrunners really don't like the updraft section because it's kind of like very floaty and slow.
Yeah, it's not something that you're used to. So even if it does seem quote unquote helpful, it is still more difficult because it's not what you're used to.
Flag 13 here for Dude. Nicely done. That's a flag that can cause some difficulty. The flags are something new for the summit, whereas in previous chapters you would have a checkpoint on each screen. So if you were to die, you would spawn at the beginning of the screen. Summit does it a little bit differently. They've eliminated a lot of the screen transitions and replaced them with these flags. The flags act as checkpoints. So you can see the runners are touching down on the flags. If they were to die after that, they would spawn at the flag. So that's important because there's a few spots where you could intentionally or accidentally miss a flag, and then if you were to die, you would spawn at the last flag you touched. So we'll have to keep an eye out for some of that.
Yeah, there's quite a few flags that it really doesn't make sense in a speedrun situation to grab them, but some people tend to grab them just because they know if they make a mistake, it's twice as devastating of a loss of time.
Yep.
And there's the flag 8 coming in clutch.
Yeah,
And
good thing.
flag
Yeah,
8.
good thing they went for that flag 8. Dude now up to flag 2. Almost at the top, and wow, is this a 36? Is this like a huge PB?
This looks like it is going to PB.
What, is Dude about to PB like a minute?
Let's go, dude.
Let's freaking go. Okay.
Lectis also has a chance.
Okay.
I believe, there's
Okay,
about maybe 45 seconds is what I know it can take from here. Lectis missing the flag. Let's see if that makes a difference.
Oh, please, please, please. This last little feather is tight, especially when you're
Grabs
on
the
pace.
flag too.
Okay,
We are safe.
nice. All right, we're good. What a great run from Dude. Let's send all our energy to Lectis for a nice clean finish here. Definitely still in PB territory for sure.
Yeah, this last flag tends to take about 15 seconds conservatively, so this is going to be about a 20-second PB.
Let's freaking go.
As long as our PBs are updated, I don't know.
Oh
if
my God.
Cheated.
Oh.
Yeah, that close.
Those spikes.
But,
Let's freaking go. Dual PBs.
Hey, the last 2 runs I've commentated have both been
Wow,
double
bless.
PBs, so
Can you commentate just like my runs when I'm just playing by myself? Like,
I
just hop into a
feel
chat.
free
with me?
to invite me.
Oh my God! Wow, what an amazing race to kick off Moonberry Cup 18. How'd that feel? How'd that feel, guys?
I had possibly the worst 2A of my life. Like, I don't know how I lost 20 seconds in like the first 5 rooms, but it happened. But
Wow.
Hey, I mean, like we said, the run starts in resort, so
yeah. I mean,
Dual
the only
PBs.
reason I PB'd there was because I actually, in my previous PB, I lost a minute and a half to reflection.
Oh wow. A lot
So
of time save
I
there.
got like a minute. I got a minute time save there. So
And like,
yeah.
and dude, to go from a 37.04 to a 36.19, like during the race, like you just popped off. Like, how did you do that?
I don't know. I'm pretty stressed.
Okay. Hey, you know what?
I
I mean,
here first. Stress increases your performance.
stress will make you go fast for sure. I mean, the race format is so much fun, I think, because it can motivate you and focus you to do really well. It can also stress you out, and you might not have a great run, but no matter what, it's like always a good time. Thank you guys for being here and taking part in the first race of Moonberry Cup 18.
Yeah, thanks so
No
much.
problem. Thanks for
It was a
having
lot
me.
of fun.